I'm on the roof with our guys, marking every chalk line. I do all the chimneys. I do all the skylights, all the pipe collars, everything I know is 100%.
Welcome back to another episode of the Mission Control Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Stearns with Ascend Digital Agency. We've got Bradley Dillon with Dillon Roofing. What's up, Bradley?
How you doing, man?
We're chilling, baby.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, no doubt. It was an interesting start to the podcast today, being that I'm now recently crippled. We had a little situation at basketball. My leg went one way, my knee went the other. Sounded like a gunshot. Now my ACL's severed and the MCL's hanging on by a thread. So it's all good. I was telling you in the green room, I had to drive myself to the ER. It was 45 minutes after the injury, and I'm sitting there and I grab my bag, and there's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I got a meeting." So I hop on a Google Meet. She's like, "Are you kidding me right now?" I was like, "What? You can do your X-ray, whatever you got to do. I got to get it." So I get on the call, and I was like, "Just so you know, there's never an excuse for you missing a meeting again." I'm sitting here. I don't know what's wrong at this point, but based on the sound that I heard and the direction my knee went, probably dealing with some torn ligaments. I was like, so yeah, he had a good laugh, and I've been trying to get hold of him since.
Damn.
So yeah, it's tough. Shout out to the team at Roofer for helping make this happen. So if you need roof measurements, CRM, instant roof quote, clean and pristine proposals, which will give your prospects no choice but to buy, hit the link in the description. They'll know I sent you. You'll be happy that you did. Dude, thanks for flying in and making this possible.
Yeah, I appreciate you going through all that and still being able to do it and everything. Much respect for that.
Appreciate you. I was nervous because, as you know, this is on a second floor.
Yeah.
And Edgar's in the background here making this, production all clean and beautiful and sound good. And I texted him last night. I was like, "Is there an elevator?" He's like, "No, but I got you. I'll help you up." I was like, "That's why you're my guy."
That's right. You got it.
You offered to help. Turned out the way the railings were positioned, I was able to hop and use these grown-ass man's shoulders and whatnot to get on up. So it was easier than I thought it was going to be, which a lot of things in life are if you just apply yourself. Isn't that right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so let's talk about Dillon Roofing.
Okay. How
long has it been around?
So my dad started at Moducraft in 1978. So he started at Moducraft. I remember him telling me the story. He was like, first day he put on 3 square in 8 hours. Next day was 4.
Mm-hmm.
Next day, by the end of the week, it was like, I think around 5 square. And he was like, "I hate this. He's never going to do it." And, he stuck with it. He worked at Moducraft all the way until 96, starting around somewhere in the 1980 range. He did subcontract work for Continental Homes and Nationwide Homes as well. And he kind of, went on from there and kind of got tired of the corporate stuff, I guess, and then that's when he started Dillon Roofing in 96.
Nice.
So, long story short, he started in 96, and then I started with him in 2012.
Okay, so we got our 30-year anniversary this year.
Yep.
It's a great opportunity to do a press release, right? You create a nice little document, distribute it to local news stations. Hey, we're celebrating 30 years. That's the preferred choice.
For sure.
And expert craftsmanship in our area for roofing services.
Exactly.
Because doing things like that will get you backlinks, and those backlinks are votes of confidence. You get to piggyback off other people's authority, helps your organic ranking, gives you better GBP position. All the things, baby. So congrats on 30 years, right?
Awesome.
That's incredible. Pass along the best to your pops as well.
He'll be listening.
Hopefully he'll watch this.
He will.
Right?
He will.
What are some of the challenges? There's one side of it where people look at roofing as a very attractive option, right? Mm-hmm. I sign jobs, I make $3, $4, $5, $10,000 in 6 hours, 2 days, whatever.
Correct.
But it's not all rainbows and butterflies, is it?
No, it's definitely not. No. I mean, it took us a long time to get to where we are today. A lot of struggles as far as, labor situation or, just expanding more from thinking really small-minded in a really small town to how we can be more efficient and still give the best quality to our customers and the best value and everything like that. So,
yeah, it's not always easy. Easier said than done, right? So, was there an aha moment where you're like, we got to snap out of this tunnel vision and look at the bigger picture? Was there like a specific instance, or was it just repeated patterns where you're like, we got to do this differently?
It was more of repeated patterns of like, I know my dad's going to listen to this, and I love him to death, but, he's super old school.
Yeah.
He's been around the game for forever, and as everything has gotten better over the years as far as technology and everything, like I could see everything and where the roofing industry is headed, with like CRMs or anything like that, to just, especially with AI too, you're taking away people's jobs and people don't realize it yet. You can be super efficient. You can do 3 little things and save yourself 4 or 5 hours a day. Just stuff like that. There's not necessarily a exact instance. It's just small little steps over the years.
Yep.
Because I didn't start out as his partner. I had to start out as like at the very, very bottom, laborer, the whole 9
Make you earn it.
Yes. I had to learn myself that I never was going to be given a position. I may have worked for my dad's business, but it was like I was treated just probably worse than everybody else. But
I think that's incredible because, if when you get things without earning them, you don't appreciate them.
You're exactly right.
And if you don't have appreciation for what you have and what you're doing, it's really hard to become better.
And I think during those years that I was like, why is he doing this? Why is he leaving me alone over here? I'm asking him questions. He won't help me, but he was teaching me the right way so I would appreciate it and learn the best way possible so I could use those experiences later when I'm all by myself.
Fuck yeah. Shout out to your dad, man.
Oh, yeah.
He did it the right way.
Oh, yeah.
What's it like working at this point now as a partner with your father? In theory, working with family is great. Also, I feel like it can be taxing in certain situations, right? It's a little bit different. I mean, partnerships in general can be tough. I think there's an additional dynamic that's added when it's, like father, son, brother, sister. So what's that like?
Most of the time, I would say the only time we ever have an issue about anything, or we never argue because we pretty much have the same mindset about things, is give the customer the best quality they can get.
Yeah.
The only time we ever have a disagreement is if like how we can make this roof, if there's a problem, better. Well, we could do it this way. No, we could do it this way. Yeah. It's off 1/8 of an inch. Well, does that really matter? Yes, but it's small things like that. But, the main thing is like how we can be more efficient with the business. We took everything to Job Nimbus. We use Roofer as well for our roofer measurements. We did all that in the past like year and a half. Everything was pen and paper, the whole 9 yards. And I'm like, man, I can save you 2 hours a day writing down estimates.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. I was like, no, I promise, like, watch this, And like the family went on a vacation a year and a half ago or so. Everybody went. It was going to rain the whole time. I stayed home and I did everything, started everything from scratch, all the CRM, and did everything. And then finally we went to a job and I was like, click, 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 boom.
Done.
He was like, there's no way. I said, yeah. And then he's like, well, what do I do now? I'm like, this is how we have to do this now. This is the new age. This is the new technology. I'm like, we're not counting up the days. We're counting down.
Right.
So this is how we got to do it.
How much resistance was there initially?
It's still some. Just putting some things in there. The pictures with the jobs. Sometimes the customer, stuff like that. But it's so efficient because you don't have to. I lost this piece of paper. Yeah. Where's it at? No, you just type the person's either address or name in, boom, everything's there.
Yeah, it's incredible, like, when you lean into it. And I get it.
He's understanding it more now. He sees the big picture and he was like,
once it's like going to the gym, right? If you're going to the gym and you go for a week and you're like, this ain't working because the results aren't immediately demonstrable. But as you lean into technology and you start to see it, the light bulb goes off, you see the momentum, you see the time saved, and you feel how much easier it makes you, makes your life and more efficiently your business to run. That's usually where you'll get more buy-in from somebody like your father, right? Because I have guys that reach out to me, old school guys, same thing.
Yeah.
And I have less patience for it at this point. It's like, look, man, you're reaching out to me because this is what we do. If you want to do it the right way and scale your company, you're not going to be able to do it with a pen and paper. It's just not possible. It doesn't scale.
You can only give us so far.
Right, because if you try to get to 3 million and you've got a couple sales guys, you got a project manager, and you're doing Miss Jones' roof, and she calls one of the reps and he's writing down what happened. Like, how is that information available to everybody, every other stakeholder in the job? If you have a CRM, you pull up a record, it's documented, everybody knows.
And the quick documentation of everything at the tip of your fingers.
Yeah. And it's like, if I have to sell you on the idea that this, like, I don't have a dog in the fight. Like, this is just preliminary stuff to make your business better. Yeah. If I have to sell you on this, like, you're not going to understand the stuff we do. And if I have to fight with you every step of the way, it's just not worth it.
For sure.
But I get it too, because introducing change, especially with like a CRM, it's a big overhaul.
It's very
it's a lot.
He was against a lot of change, over the years, but I was like, I never want to take over what he started. Yeah. I was like, I want to earn the position, but I'm like, I can't stand seeing us get beat by other people with things, other companies or whatever. I'm like, we're better than these people from quality to installs and everything else. I was like, but how can we be the best in our area at what we do? And I knew to take the steps to do that is we had to do stuff like that.
Is he doing video?
No video. No video.
Opportunity pops. Video brand. If people, and I'll put your personal profile in the description, like you look and there's a ton of video and a ton of reach, and it's a lot. You love racing. Correct. Right? There's a lot of racing content and you get a tremendous amount of reach with that stuff. Let's go there. Like, where did your love for racing start?
Kind of started like high school. My dad bought me my first car. It was a yellow Dodge Neon. Nice. It was like a base model Neon, and I got into like car audio and stuff with my good friend Carlos, still friends with today, and they had V8 cars, Camaro, stuff like that, and then I had this little 4-cylinder. Yeah. And then sold it, got an SRT4 right as I was leaving high school. They started making their cars faster. They said I couldn't make mine faster, and then I beat them, and then here we go, and then met a couple people, and
off to the races.
And off to the races, and then snowball. Keep going from there, and record, and driving for other race teams, and long story short.
What's your dream car?
I really want an orange R8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice car.
Yeah. I like that car because it matches our logos and everything. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that'd be fire. It's funny you mentioned car audio, and I just think of like when I would get a car. I think I had a Buick Regal something from a buy here, pay here. It had a box on it because my credit sucked.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're paying 2x what you should, but dude, no one else will give me a loan, man. So I get this Regal, and I liked it, man. Leather interior, little sunroof. I'm like, okay. But every time you get a new car, it's like, I got to figure out fucking who's going to hook up my audio, who's going to run the wires for my sub, get a couple 10s or 12s in the back. What kind of amp am I going to get? But I think of like the detachable face, like the Pioneer, the Kenwood, or whatever, right? And like every time you got to leave, you pull that bitch out because someone's going to jack you.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Like how far we've come since then is incredible, right? Because then it was, if you could hook up your iPod or your phone,
you were doing something,
dude. Or you had the Walkman, and every time you hit a bump, that bitch would skip, and I'm like, dude, I'm trying to listen to Dedication 2 with Lil Wayne.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's like, and it skips, like, fuck, dude, and like burning CDs. My boy Big Mike, shout out to Big Mike. This dude always would put together the sickest mixtapes. And we would have, put a 20 track banger together, bro, and then fucking pop it in the CD player, and then you get it scratched and start skipping. Now you don't have to worry about any of that. Now you just pull up your phone, make a playlist, and there you go.
Exactly. Everything's easy now.
Everything's easy. Yeah. I kind of miss those days, though, right? Like
way more simplistic.
The simplicity is great, like as far as actualizing the audio you want to hear, but, when you're changing gears and want to hear a different song, you reach up in your little visor thing where you got all your CDs, you're trying to find it, like there's something to that, right? Something lost along the way. So an orange R8, I'll tell you what,
there's more, but that's the first one that popped in my head.
That's not a bad first choice. What's the fastest you've ever gone in a motor vehicle?
I've been 196 on a quarter mile. So
that's fast.
Yeah.
How'd that feel?
Just like riding down the road.
Just like riding down a road.
Once you go I've been 7s in a quarter mile in a front wheel drive car probably I don't know, 30, 40 times. So like everything slows down. It's just like second nature. I don't know how to really explain it, but
we were out in Vegas for like a conference expo type deal, and we went to Speed something where
oh yeah?
Yeah. And you get to pick your car.
Oh, I think my friend RJ did this.
Yeah, so I got it was a Lambo something. I forget. Nice. But I get in there, and they're like, how many laps do you want to do? I think I did like 6 or 8. There's other cars flying around the track, and it's a lot to take in. They're like, when this happens, you do this. When this happens, you do this. Mm-hmm. When we hit this point, that means you hit it. When you this, it means you decelerate. And I'm like, these cars are going to be flying around while I'm out there. Like, that's a little nerve-wracking. Oh, yeah. So I get in it, and I start sweating. I'm like, fuck, dude. So he's like, no, hit it, right? And I'm like, a little trepidation, right? First lap, second lap. Now you start getting a little acclimated. Third lap, you're picking up your pace, and by like the 5th lap, now we're cooking. And then it was over. I should have did like 20 laps.
You just got to get some seat time, get comfortable.
Got to get some seat time. Got to get the reps in.
That's all it is.
It's just like shooting video content, Pops, right? Like,
yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you, and listen to me, and anyone else listening, I've said it 1,000 times. My first video was similar to that of like a hostage video, right? Like, you could just imagine outside of the frame, there's somebody like, pointing a gun at me, like, say this, because I'm shaking, I'm stuttering, I'm sweating.
Oh, yeah.
Now, here's the thing. We have a group of 10, 15, 50 people, whatever. I can go chop it up. I can give a presentation. And it's going to be pretty good. I must say, I'm pretty good at that. So when I first started shooting video, easy money, right? So I set up, I got a little tripod, didn't have any external mic, it was just my iPhone like 10 maybe. I hit record, and I'm like, it was a fucking dumpster fire, right? But that shouldn't dissuade you, because it's so powerful. If you think about what it does for your brand to put video out,
yes,
and people see that, and they see, maybe you do some funny videos, maybe you do a lot of technical videos, right? Like, if you've been in the industry for 40 years, you have a lot of knowledge that other people don't.
Yes.
And a good starting point is always, what do your customers ask you? What do they object to, right? Why do they buy from you? Why don't they buy from you? So now you can start to work on brand positioning and give other people, like, if that homeowner has those questions, they're not the only homeowner.
Correct.
And most homeowners don't know shit about roofing.
Yep.
At all.
Yep.
Before I got in the industry, I didn't know a goddamn thing, and I still know very little. I know enough to market it.
Yeah.
But I'll be like, oh, that's an 812. But outside of that, like, hey, I don't fucking know, dude. Mm-hmm. Go read one of the blogs we wrote. Yeah.
that was my whole like thing with my dad, was like, I want to learn everything about it so I can, from him. Thankfully, I was able to learn everything and then learn on my own as well, and just keep going and progressing like that. Yeah.
Well, because, the person watching it, maybe 50 people watch it, maybe 100 do. And people get discouraged by that because they see everyone's a viral sensation. This gets 100,000 views. This gets 1 million views. And it's like, the way I reframe it to people is, let's say you get 40 views on a video. Sure, it could be better. What can we do to make it better? Exactly. So I usually have people do an exercise where it's like, shoot a video, listen to it without watching it, and then watch it without audio, and then watch it with audio, right? So you can pick up on, what are you doing with your hands? What do you do? What is your nonverbal communication? There's always
a way to get better at everything.
So if you take the findings from that exercise into your next video, you know what to focus on.
Exactly.
I say too much. I say write too much. I say like too much, like filler words. I do weird shit with my hands.
You don't know that until you see it.
Precisely. And then you get better and better. But even with that 40 view video, if you were given a keynote at an event center back home and 40 people showed up, you'd probably be pretty happy with the outcome.
Exactly.
Doesn't feel the same way when you look at it on your reels. It's like, I got 40 views. It's
you can't make the reels or pictures for likes or validation. Is what basically what it is like, this is your social media is your portfolio. Yeah. That's your proposal for any roof, for any car related thing, whatever. Like, that's what social media is, and you can broadcast it. It's another website for yourself.
Yeah. And persevere through the beginning, and it gets easier. Just like you said, you got to get seat time.
Yes,
gotta get the
it's
reps
the same thing with everything. It's just like the more you put in, the more you're gonna get out. That's life.
Right. Yeah. So Pops, I expect you to shoot a video for next week, and I want to see it.
We'll see.
That's your homework.
That. We'll see about that.
And if you're having trouble with it, you can connect with me.
Yeah.
Bradley will give you my information. What's one struggle that you've had in life that you had to, speaking of perseverance, that you had to get through? What's the most challenging thing that you feel like you faced?
Within roofing or in general?
It could be whatever you want.
Whatever.
Mine was opiates.
Okay.
Found myself in the back of an ambulance getting hit with Narcan. It wasn't great.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that was right around the time where they were like introducing Suboxone. They're like, oh, it's fine. You could just take these and you're going to be good. I was like, that sounds like a bad idea. I was like, it feels a lot like I'm going to end up hooked on this. And I don't know what this is. There's no studies on it. Like, it's new. We're just going to lock ourselves in a room for a month. And that was awful.
I gotcha.
But it was great.
Yeah.
It taught me a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every life teaches you everything. If you just pay attention.
Got to pay attention.
You got to pay attention. And it will give you every answer that you need.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have any major stories like that. Like, I don't drink alcohol. I don't do anything like that. But mainly for me, I think is like I'm like a super OCD, super perfectionist.
Yeah.
And like learning to let go of that is very, very hard.
Yeah.
And I've learned that it's held me back. And I would say the past few years, I've learned to let go of that a little bit and see the big picture and stuff like that. And
that requires acute situational awareness and self-awareness, right?
It's more learning yourself.
Right.
Learning yourself. And it's not just about the brand like we talked about or anything else. Just learning who you are so you can provide the best to everybody else around you as well.
When did you realize it was a problem?
I was struggling, like, I'm putting in all this work and I'm not getting what I want.
Yeah.
I'm not getting what I want out of this. Why are these other, social media makes you compare yourself to other people.
Sure.
So I'm like, why are these other people doing this or doing that? It's like, I'm breaking records and doing all this crazy stuff, but it was like I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with how things were going, no matter how much money we made, no matter how many, perfect roofs we did, whatever. I just wasn't happy. So that's when I started to learn and be aware of what was going on.
So we have a tendency, let's take, that perfectionist mentality, and you're like, okay, I gotta let go and understand that, like, not everything's gonna be perfect, and I gotta manage that.
Yes.
In my experience, even when we make changes, we have a tendency to gravitate towards norm, and our norm is this has got to be perfect.
Yes.
So what is it like? How do you manage that on an ongoing basis when you catch yourself like, I'm digging into a bunch of shit that doesn't matter? This is good. I don't need it. I don't need to spend another 3 hours here.
I think it's more about being organized and efficient. Like I said, is like I categorize everything. Like, I got like a journal every day, like roofing, racing, personal, and I list out everything I have to do per category each day, and I prioritize 1, 2, 3 of what has to be done. Because if not, I will go to different directions and get sidetracked or something like that to make sure I get the best thing I can get done.
What happens when you get through all 3 on personal, racing, business? Do you then start reprioritizing if you have time left in your day?
Yeah, I usually like the chaos. It's like me and my dad was talking actually on the way down. He dropped me off at the airport, and he was like, I think we love it because it's the chaos. I love chaos. Because he always wanted me to. I worked at the railroad and roofed with him because he didn't want me to get into roofing. He was like, it's too stressful. You're not going to make as much money. All this stuff, right?
Yeah.
He just didn't want me to feel the feelings he was feeling.
Sure.
But I'm like, I like this. Like, I like the chaos. I like never knowing the weather, dealing with the homeowners and stuff like that. I like everything.
Yeah. It's funny what you said about. Do you do that digitally, the notes, or do you do that?
Handwrite it.
Handwrite it.
If you digitally, stuff is great sometimes, but sometimes you need to handwrite it so your mind slows down and only focuses on one thing at a time.
Like that. Are you familiar with what EOS is? So it's the entrepreneurial operating system. So it's essentially processes that you implement into a company, a way of doing things, understanding your goals. Like it's this super complex system, but it made me think of EOS when you said, like, I break these things out and I prioritize them, because part of EOS is an L10 meeting, which is a weekly meeting. You go through a lot of stuff. There's like a 5-minute segue where you talk about a personal win, a professional win. Mm-hmm. There's issues that you prioritize, right? Because what happens a lot of the times when you're running a company, there's different stakeholders in the company, a lot of things going on. And we realized this was happening a lot. We would meet about something and we would spend 2 hours talking about this, potential outcomes, potential fixes, and then keep digging down. Well, that's a good idea, but what if this? Mm-hmm. And we would never get to a solution. We'd spend 2 hours and we'd leave that meeting and, nothing would get done. The way it was so inefficient. So we implemented like the L10 style meeting where it's like, here's the 3 things that we need to focus on today. And you got 90 minutes of the meeting and a certain portion of that's allocated towards the issue side. And it's like 1, 2, 3. And if you get through all 3, great. If you only get through 1 because it was super complex and time consuming, like that's fine too. But it's been a remarkable way for us to lock in, stay focused, and make sure shit gets done. Well,
everything's about systems, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, everything within business, the personal, like the way we operate a roof as well is like everything is like a system, like how we do everything. And like that's what makes us have a checklist so nothing ever gets missed. No leaks, no anything like that because of the way we do things in a certain order.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being they're the worst they can be and 10 being there's no room for improvement, how would you rate your SOPs, so standard operating procedures for the different facets of the business?
As far as like the day-to-day operating of like when we show up at a job?
Like, so like if, let's say everybody at the company disappeared, you and your pops included, and 5 other people came in and were like, okay, we're going to run Dillon Roofing. Would they be able to, like if it's a 10, they should have a centralized place, a single source of truth where whether it's lead intake, it's production, it's accounting, it's this or that, any facet of the business, they could find it and understand exactly how you guys would do it.
Right now, it would be hard to do that. We're still at the early stages of that, where we've transferred everything to be digitally and stuff like that. Like, I'm be honest, it'd be hard to do that. Yeah, I mean, I have everything like wrote out a certain way that we do things. So like, if I had to hand you a piece of paper, say this is how we operate, I think I would say 8 out of 10, you would understand how everything works.
How much time do you put into getting it to a 10? There's no right or wrong answer here. And most people, have a lot of room for improvement.
How much more time do I put in so you could understand it at a 10, basically? As much as I would need. If that's the goal, then we have to achieve it.
Yeah. I like that.
That's just how it works.
That's just how it works.
If I set a goal, I achieve it, every single one. That's just what I do.
It's just what I do. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
What do you guys do to get more customers?
We don't advertise at all, which we probably should, but we don't advertise. We don't advertise at all. It's almost all word of mouth. It's about, I've been posting a lot of reels, more content, stuff like that. But I mean, my dad looked at me. I started our Google account, we partnered up 6 years ago. I was a laborer for 9 years, 10 years. And we partnered up. And when I made the Google page and I went through all these books and everything that he had, the file cabinets of all these customers, and I called a bunch of them. I said, do you remember me when we did your roof? Will you give us a review on Google? And right now we're at 109 5-star reviews. And I'm not talking a sentence. I'm talking paragraphs, reviews. And my dad looked at me 2 years in. He's like, Bradley, the phone called 12 times today. What are you doing? I can't keep up with it. And I'm like, I didn't mean to do this. It just kind of happened. So thankfully we're at a point where, I'm not saying we need more customers, but we're at a point where we can do 4 roofs a week and be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
With no advertisement, no anything, because it's all about, when people call us, they know they're getting the highest quality roof there is around our area, 100%. They know that. We're not the cheapest, we're not the highest, but we provide the best value, 100%.
How many of those 109 5-star reviews have done a video testimonial?
0. So that's
your homework assignment.
That's my homework.
So your dad's got his homework assignment. Your assignment is to get one in the next week.
Yep.
Yeah. It's impactful, right? we can sit here and talk about how Ascend is by far the best digital marketing agency in the space for roofers. But if I have 10 customers telling my target market the same thing, there's more credibility to it because it's more objective.
It's different.
Yeah, they don't have a dog in the fight, right? So if we clip this and we're talking about how you guys are the best, that's fantastic, and you should have that sense of pride. If we have 10 of your customers saying that Dillon Roofing is the best, it hits a little bit different, right?
Yes.
Because now you can deploy those on Facebook, you can deploy those on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, in local social media groups, right? And that's a huge opportunity that a lot of people don't take advantage of. People trust that social proof, right? So if somebody goes into a local Facebook group and they're like roofing and they see a bunch of happy customers talking about it, it's like, I got to call these guys. It happens to us all the time.
That's awesome. That's usually how it goes, but it's just a different format, like you said.
Yeah. You can do the same thing a bunch of different ways, and if you can run that same strategy, concurrently on different places and get benefit from all of them,
we're at a point now where it's very hard to balance everything.
Yeah,
where we do need the business is expanding so much that it's kind of, I'm not gonna say scary, but at the same time, it's like, okay, there's not enough time in the day to do this. We have to delegate it properly. Yeah, type deal, like videography and everything, stuff like that.
Yeah. So. Sounds like you might be hiring someone soon. Yeah. Or not, right? Or you stay where you're at, be more efficient, be more profitable.
Well, that's the thing is I was when I really started listening to this podcast, it's like I was doing stuff all day Saturday for 14 hours on a computer, making job numbers better, making our social media stuff, just doing stuff like that. And I was listening to the Andy Keys podcast and stuff like that. I look up to that guy a lot. And I'm like, you're interviewing all these people that own these $20, $30 million roofing companies. It's what about the people that own a little less overall value business? How do they operate? Yeah. So to me, that interests me and stuff like that.
Yeah. And you're right, contextually, what you're going to do, especially from a marketing advertising side of things, when you're at $1 million or $2 million or $3 million, it's going to look a lot different than the guy at $20 million, $30 million. There are some core concepts that should be in place, right? So you take website, for instance. Yeah, maybe you don't build a full custom website when you're, a 500K company 8 months in. But if you're going to build it yourself, or you're going to have somebody else build it, you can go to any roofing website and try to find and understand what are they doing and what do I want to mimic. So for instance, site structure, you see a lot of websites where it's residential roof replacement, and then you go to that page and it's roof repair, more emergency service, storm damage, insurance claims, and there's a couple sentences about each. But realistically, if you're going to do if you're going to make content regarding your services, there should be a residential roofing main page. Yes. And then within that, it should be a page for inspection.
Just like what you said, not to cut you off, there's levels to everything. Yeah. It's once you get to a certain point, okay, what's next? Once you get to that point, what's next? What's next after that?
And there's principles that you can take from those bigger companies and leverage those at a smaller company, right? Yes. If you get 100 calls a week for somebody trying to sell you a website, look at the leaders in your space. Who's ranking on Google? What are they doing with their website? And if I'm going to hire somebody that's not Ascend, how can we take what they're doing and infuse that with working with somebody else?
For sure.
So Google Business Profile, it's a free platform. You can post a lot of content there. You got to be active on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And there's platforms I talk to a lot of people and I tell them use Buffer, which is simply I can hook up my GBP, integrate my Facebook, my Instagram, all my platforms. I can go in there on a Saturday. Most people, when they're a younger company, they are wearing a lot of hats. So if I expect you to log in every single day and post something to these 6 different platforms, the likelihood of that happening sustainably is the closest thing to zero. That's not zero.
That's a lot to keep up with. That's on top of everything else.
On top of everything else. So usually what I recommend is you pick a day, and maybe it's the first Saturday of every month. It's the first Monday. Whatever day works best for your schedule, where this is coveted time and I'm going to focus on creating my content for the month. You integrate all your accounts to a platform like Buffer, and I have no financial deal with Buffer. They don't sponsor the show. I just know that it's cheap and it's easy, right? Sure. There's thousands, well, probably not thousands, but there's dozens of these platforms. Find one that works for you where you can integrate all your social media platforms, and then go into company cam, go into your camera roll, take 30 photos and put them in a buffer and make a post about each one of them. You can schedule them out, right? So, and what are you going to write about? Plug the shit into Gemini or ChatGPT.
Yes.
Like, hey, I'm writing an optimized post about a roof replacement we did in this area, about an emergency repair we did here. These are the shingles we use.
That's the thing, is everything like that is so easy now, and it almost gets rid of like people that you don't have to have.
Yeah. Because, you know, you can hire a marketing agency to do your social content, post 3 times a week, and they're going to charge you $500 or $1,000
for sure.
And it's like, usually they're going to have to use stock images because they're not getting the assets that they need from the company. And if you're getting to the point where you're going to give people assets and direction, like literally spend an hour of your time, create a month's worth of content, do it for yourself, save that money, because now you're going to get the same outcome, probably better, and be more profitable because you're not paying somebody. You're spending an hour of your time. So that's usually how I have people do it. And it works really well because now you have content going out for the month on, you know, whether it's 3, 4, 5 days a week. And now everything you do as far as video content is just gravy on top of the taters, man. You know, so like, how do we create that presence? How do we get our brand in front of people, whether they need it right now or they don't? Give it to them.
It doesn't matter. It's more like, you know, you just got to jump in with 2 feet and see what happens. You can't just dibble your feet in. You got to just like, okay, this is what we're going to do as a company now. Let's do it.
Yeah. And it's like, you know,
that's the new standard type deal.
And you've got everything to gain, nothing to lose. Like the downside of doing that is you spend an hour a month.
But what do you lose by producing content? 0. Nothing.
Everything to gain, nothing to lose. Shoot that shot every single time.
Yep.
The younger companies, I tell them, and the bigger companies, LSA, get on Google Local Service Ads. It's the best paid acquisition that you can have on the internet. The cost is negligible per lead, you know, and depending on what market you're in, it varies. But for repairs, if you're doing siding, if you're doing roof replacement, it's going to be pound for pound the champion. We do Google Ads. We make a lot of people a lot of money with Google Ads. But if you can satiate your need for new customers by way of Google Local Service Ads, you don't ever have to run Google Ads, right? Ever. Yep. Like if somebody calls me and they don't have an LSA account and they're like, hey, I need a couple more customers, like, go do this. Like, come talk to me. Because you create the account and maybe you don't get leads from it because there's 25 other people and there's only so much you can do to manipulate where you're positioned. That's okay. Now the next step would be, okay, let's run some Google Ads. Or a lot of the times there's opportunities not on Google that if you're like, hey, we're a $1 million company, we want to get to $1.5 million, it's like, okay, dude, let's go get video customer testimonials. Let's put them in the social media groups. Let's go meet up with, you know, home inspectors, real estate agents, insurance agents, prove to them why we're the best option for 100%. Their people that are reaching out to them, right? Let's reach out to a landscape contractor. Let's reach out to a plumber, an HVAC guy. They go visit a lot of homes. If they know what to look for, that would, you know, identify that, hey, this would be a good customer for the boys. Yep. Now I can create a referral system, and we do the same for them. And it's not hard to add $500,000 in revenue when you have those types of relationships.
Yeah, I mean, we have people ask us all the time, you know, home services, like, hey, I need some windows replaced. Hey, we need our door replaced or whatever. And we're like, we don't do that, but we have a guy that will do it. And then, you know, obviously if anybody needs a roof, they're going to tell them to call us.
Precisely. Yeah. So that stuff, it doesn't cost money. It costs human capital. It costs intentionality, right? And most guys that I talk to, when I walk them down this road, they're like, yeah, well, we've got this insurance agent that refers us people. We got this guy. It's like, okay. So imagine if you had 30 of them.
Exactly.
Right? If you had 30 people consistently pushing your brand to your target market, what does your business look like?
Yeah.
Because there's no cost per acquisition associated. Maybe you kick them a couple $100 for a signed contract.
Yeah.
But you know, typically you're going to see a cost per acquisition in roofing of like $1,000, $1,200, somewhere around there. So if you could pay somebody a couple $100 just on general principle, like good looking out, and that's your cost per acquisition, your net profit's higher. So you're taking more from that. And, you know, what are you doing when you're in the neighborhood? I had a guy, I've mentioned it recently on a podcast, but he reached out. He did a lot of mailers. They did, I think, like 7 or 8 million.
Oh, wow.
They're an older company, but all they do is mailers. But the one thing he did that is fucking brilliant is in his job costing, he factored in as a marketing cost, sending a dog to the spot for the day. Like if you're a homeowner, we're going to talk to you about, hey, what's 4th of July like for your pup? Like that you think that's bad. Like a roof install is traumatic. It's a lot. It's noisy.
Man. Yeah.
So we send your dog to the spot for the day.
That's smart.
Smart, right? Yeah. Who the fuck is that person ever going to recommend but them? Like,
well, I always looked at it, man. I was like, I'm not coming to replace your roof. It's like a relationship.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want you to call me and say, hey, I replace your roof. You give me a check. It's a transactional thing. No. Like, I want you to be able to call me in 5-10 years, whatever, and say, hey, I need a window replaced. Like, I want it to be like Merry Christmas, whatever, like stuff like that. And that's how we operate, is more of like, obviously father, son, but it's family oriented. Yeah. But like what you're saying with the dog thing, that's really smart.
Dude, I've been in the space for almost 12 years.
It's not just about the roof, like you said.
No, because a lot of companies, they'll go knock the neighbors and be like, hey, I'm Mike. We're going to be we got an install scheduled for next week. If there's any debris or anything, here's my cell phone. And it helps with brand positioning. It's like, hey, you're going out of your way to get ahead of things, and you're proactive and you're professional, which is great. And obviously, it's always great if one of those people are like, hey, can you take a look at my roof, right? And it increases the likelihood that happens by virtue of you going and having that conversation. But he takes a step further, and the people on each side of that house and the people across 3 houses across the street, he also offers that to their pets.
Dang. Okay.
So realistically, like, what does it cost to send a dog to the spot for the day? $150. So he's baking in, $1,000, let's say, into his job costing. But you get a relationship, if you service a 30-mile radius, maybe you get a couple different puppy spas where you're like, hey, we're going to start sending you some volume. Like, what can we do as far as rates? You work out a deal with them.
For sure.
Now you create this win-win-win where it's like, dude, I can't imagine if somebody was doing a roof across the street from me or next door and they're like, hey, do you have dogs? It's gonna be real loud, and most dogs have adverse reactions to these types of things. So we want to offer, and this no strings attached. We're gonna send your dog to the spot for a day. Are you cool with that? I mean, I would.
You can't really say no.
You never forget about that, right? Like, you might forget the yard sign, you might forget the polo shirts or the hats that you see, or the conversation about debris. If anybody within the next 5 years were to talk about roofing, I'm going to be the first company that they think of if I'm doing that. It's brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah. So
the brand too.
It's the brand.
Everything. That's what it's all about.
The most egregious misstep of this particular individual was they didn't have anything about it on their website. And I'm like, how do you have such a brilliant concept and let it be the best kept secret? Like, that's crazy.
You said it was an older company though.
Yeah.
Right? So they probably just didn't.
Yeah, I was like, if I get hit by a bus and we never talk again, the first thing you need to do is make sure that, like, above the fold, when somebody lands on your website, there's information about this, because it's incredibly powerful and it's a great 100%. Brand play, because it shows that you care.
That's what it really matters, is like, I tell people all the time when we go to price some jobs, like you said, it's like, we're not selling you a roof, we're installing it. Yeah. And they just kind of look at us weird. It's like, that's what we're doing. We want to give the best care for your property, your house. Just go over the whole process.
What do you guys do differently that really helps illustrate that to your customers before, during, and after?
Most of the time, I go to the jobs with my dad. We price them now together. We kind of, when we talk to a homeowner, we go over every exact step of what we would do, from the time they would sign the contract to the time they would give us the check. Explain to them that I'm on the roof with our guys, marking every chalk line. I do all the chimneys. I do all the skylights, all the pipe collars, everything I know is 100%. And I explain to them, when you lay your head down at night, for the next 25 or 30 years, your roof is going to be 100%, because it's your home, but it's our roof.
Okay.
That's the way I see it. Yeah. And that's how confident I am within our business, because I know who we are, and I know the integrity that not only just me and my father have, but that our guys have. Yeah. That the crew that we've been able to build over the years, and people have came and gone over the years. Sure. But it's like, for a long time I would look at it as, it would be like, oh, well, he was such a good guy, why did he have to, why didn't things work out? But it was like, it wasn't a part of the plan. And I didn't trust the process until now, and then so many more things have fallen into place. It's like, oh, okay, then this guy shows up. and he's gotten better. And then this guy shows up, and then it's like, wow, we've built something that's incredible. It's like,
I like that, man. Do you have plans to grow and, let's say, get to 10 people or 15 people, or is it something where, because obviously
it's hard. That part of what we talked about,
scale.
Being a perfectionist and stuff like that, is very hard for me to let go. I'm not saying like I'm over every guy's shoulder while we're working. You know, like we've built good relationships, but they know the standard that we hold as far as everything goes. If there's an issue with something, Bradley, you know, they yell at me.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? What do you think about that? I'm like, we could do it this way. Well, we could do it this way. Okay, well, let's come up with a plan together. But it's the scaling part is hard because I feel like we've gotten to a point where we're at now, just from being efficient, like we talked about, and the brand, especially because my dad's always had a really good brand before I helped him, but he just didn't know how to get it out there.
Right.
And I know I helped him do that. I'm not opposed to growing, like you said, but it would be later.
It's going to present some challenges.
It would be later down the road because, I don't know, it's just hard for me to just say, here's a job, go do it. I just, in my heart, it's hard for me to do that because it's like.
So you want to be involved and have control over the outcome.
That part, for me personally, I struggle with because I know right now where we're at, I can control everything of what comes in and what comes out and the exact quality.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we were ever to scale to get to another point, if that's a part of the plan, if that's a part of God's plan, then it's going to work out the way it's supposed to, and somebody will show up and be a part of that.
Yeah, and the closer you get those processes to a 10,
yes,
the easier, and the people you put in place to be accountable to those processes, the more likely it is that...
It's about building the culture, too. Like, the culture of the business, because it's like people... Like, I never would have thought we'd get to a point where people are like, will you please leave a yard sign? It's like, we're going to... No. Like, I need you to leave a yard sign. Can we leave it here for a few months? We want to show all our neighbors that you did our roof, that you did it. And I'm like, okay, that's
more fulfilling than any amount of money.
Yes, that to me is like, that's what makes me love roofing. It's like that feeling.
Yeah, it sounds like that person would be more than willing to give you a video testimonial.
Yeah, there's a few.
To go in their local community group on Facebook and talk about how great, because there's that sense of pride that like you guys, we have similar feelings when like we get feedback on when we get done with a website. Like, I can't wait to fucking tell people about like I got a Sense site and like I love what you guys did. And it's we're
gonna talk about a website.
But like when people talk, you know, you can make money, and I've had a lot of money in my life. I've had fucking no money. I've owed a lot of people money. You know, I talked about on a podcast like last year where I kept overdrawing my account, and it was like, I wasn't great at like, you know, this is back in, you know, when I ride my dinosaur to work, and, you know, you had a checkbook and you're supposed to, debits and credits. And I was terrible at that. Right. So at that point in my life, I think it was like 19, and, I would overdraft $6 and get hit for $39. And it got to the point where I was like, well, essentially I'm taking a loan for $6 and getting hit for $39. I was like, you know, and sometimes multiple things would hit. So then there's $39. And I'm like, this is a terrible situation. So instead of fixing it and getting better at like the accounting side and keeping track of it, I was like, well, if I know that I'm getting close, I wonder how much money they'll give me for that $39. So the answer is $400. They would let you withdraw up to $400 over what you had. And now I'm just paying 9.5% when they hit me for $39 that I got $400, dude. Let's go. So I'd go buy some weed or some cigarettes, right? Because it was a different part of time in my life. But I'd get what I need to get to the next pay period and then, you know, square up. But it's it's pretty incredible. Yeah. How far we've come.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But to round that out, it's, if you can make a lot of money and still feel incredibly empty, right? Yes, so like, what is 100%. The purpose of what you're doing? So
correct. And like you saying that is like, so like when I started, my first job was Bojangles, actually. I was making biscuits and chicken and stuff like that, fast food in high school. And then my dad hit me up and Well, first I started breaking ridge caps with him when I was 10 years old at the jobs.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't really let me come around much because, again, he didn't want me to get involved with it.
My dad was the same way.
Started at Bojangles, was making chicken, biscuits, and everything.
Bojangles sucks, by the way.
No, it's great. It's great.
Nah, dude. I stopped there on the way into Florida in January, and I had the worst meal that I've had in a long time.
You need to try another one.
It was probably, okay,
anyways,
fair enough.
He was like, hey, we're doing a roof. It was my senior skip day, whatever. And he was like, will you come help us do a roof? I was like, okay. Tore a roof off all day, and I was like, man, I made $100 in like 7 hours or something. I was like, oh my God. I was making $7.25 an hour then. I was like, this is what I would make after taxes in 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah. So it just kind of, and then I was like, I'm helping you full time, whatever. He was like, no, you need to get a different job. It's hard labor, it's hard work. But I was like, but it was more of like, our relationship was more of roofing.
Yeah.
Father, son, a little bit, but it was more of like our relationship became better when we roofed together because that's like what we could talk about all the time. It's like what we bonded with, But yeah, it's kind of went off like that.
Yeah, dude, like having that common interest, right?
Yes.
Regardless of what it is, if it's roofing, if it's sports, if it's racing, like doesn't matter, right?
For
like
sure.
It's always helpful in any type of relationship. But if there's people listening that have a small company and the only aspiration is like I want to make more money, I think you will find sooner than later that making that money is going to do for you.
That's why I was part of that story. I got sidetracked for a second, but like I started with him, working labor, and he was like, I still don't want you to do roofing. There was another guy that was my boss at that time within the company, the position I'm in now. And I started at the railroad and was working there. And this was still when I was living at my parents' house. And, he would come in my room all the time. I'd get home from the railroad 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And he'd be like, son, I really need some help today. We're having a hard time finding help. Will you help us? And, like, I did it for, like, 5, 6 years like that. Like, I would sleep 3 hours a night, 2 hours a night. But I wouldn't go to get the paycheck from my dad. I would do it because it was like, I want to do this for the purpose of helping my dad with the business. I knew that's what they needed. Right. So like you said, like if you do it for the money, if I was like, oh, let's go get this money, like that's cool, but you're not understanding that that's not what it's all about. Yeah. Yeah. It's more than that.
It's got to be, because if it's not, you'll get to a point where it's like, there's this hole, there's this void, right? You can make more money. Making more money is good. I'm a capitalist. I like making more money.
For sure.
But I think that's, a lot of the times when people start a business, that's the main prerogative. And what gets glossed over is emphasis around like what matters to me. Like what is going to give me that feeling that you feel when a customer's like, can you leave that yard sign for fucking 3 months? I want everyone to know that Dillon Roofing did my roof, right? Yes. No amount of money can replicate that feeling.
And the thing is, if that's our goal as a company, to always provide that service, you never have to worry about $1 in your life.
Right. The rest falls into place.
Ever. And when I explained that to my dad, he was like, yeah, but these other people are getting these jobs. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Look at what we did for that old lady's roof. Like, every night she goes to sleep, she's going to be thankful for us. Yeah. Because how she feels. She knows she got 110% perfect job. Yeah. That's to me, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And like to the point where we talked about, like, do you plan on adding more people? And you admitted, I would struggle with that for these reasons. People reach out to us and like, I want to go from 2 million to 10. It's like, why? Why do you want to do it?
Exactly. You have to have the answer why.
Because in theory, like, it's perfect, and everything on paper, every play that you run is designed to be a touchdown or to get a bucket on the basketball court. Yeah. But shit happens between the time where the point guard brings the ball up and somebody takes a shot that can turn it into a turnover, that can turn it into one that doesn't flush down.
The thing is, if you can't put the fires out at 1 or 2, how are you going to put them out at 10?
Right, because revenue scales, but so do the fucking intricacies and the issues that you're going to face along those lines, right? So, you go from 1 to 2, there's going to be challenges, but going like 2 to 10, there's a lot more challenges. And the weaker your processes are and your infrastructure is, the more likely it is that they scale disproportionately, where there's some real fucking problems.
But I think us being aware of that and not diving in too deep is what makes us, again, who we are as a company.
my point in saying that is like, it's okay if you're listening to this. Everybody you see a Grant Cardone reel, or you see one of these guys talking about 10Xing, and those things are great. But like, it's also quite okay to create a job where you have sanity. You can provide for your family. You can do right by your customers, whether that's, 800,000, 2 million, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to chase that number.
Correct. And I'm not saying we never want more, but it's like, again, I want to provide the best value. Yeah. And I know right now where we are, there's some other things that we can do within the business to be better. I'm a perfectionist, so I want to get the best and better at everything I'm doing. So until I get to this point, then I can get to this point. Yeah. Then I can get to this point.
I think a lot of guys, though, they don't have that same mindset. And like, if they're like, hey, we bumped up 5% last year, they look at it as we're not doing enough. Right. And I just want to implore people to really take a step back. Like, where were you in life 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
When is enough enough? Right. What if you don't get to that point?
Right.
There's always like a worst, best case scenario, but like, when is enough enough?
It's hard as people that own businesses, because most of the time they're the type of people where if they run a marathon, as soon as they're about to break that tape, the tape moves at 26.2 down the road.
And that's been what we talked about. That's me 100%. Is like, my dad's like, nothing's ever good enough for you. I'm like, no, you're not understanding. That's just me. Yeah. That's just what I like to do.
Right.
It's like, we can have something so perfect, but we can always do better. We can always figure out another way to.
It's a gift and a curse. Yes. It's a cape and a kryptonite, right? It's a thing that'll keep the company going. It'll make it more profitable.
It's just all in. Being all in is the only way to be.
But, it's also, it can be taxing mentally, right?
Yes.
And it can be discouraging for others. Like, you talk about culture. Like, I've experienced this myself, where it's like, if I'm not going to celebrate the wins, because I know that's one of my shortcomings, like let's go, we did this, on to the next thing. Yes. Like, how are we going to fix this? How are we going to fix this? How are we going to make that better? We need to put some emphasis here. For a team, that can be discouraging, right? Like,
because they don't see the same. You have to have.
I'm broken. They're less broken than me, right? So I have to be like self-aware enough to understand that, and I need to put extra intentionality around. How are we going to celebrate this to where people feel it?
Not everybody has the same goals as you.
Right.
So it's like, but when you're on a mission, and you explain to these people, like I explained to some people, like our guys, for example, like, oh, we're on a mission. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're going to war at this roof. Like, everybody has a job. If you don't do your job, we get killed. Yeah. Basically.
Let's go.
And that's just how we operate.
I'm about to go throw it. Once this fucking leg allows me, I'm about to come throw a tool belt down and hop up on there with a nail, like ta, ta, ta.
But that's basically, like I said, that's how we operate.
I love that, man. What questions do you have for me? If there's none, that's fine too. I like to give people the opportunity.
What made you choose me to be on here?
You were talking, we connected. It was like nice to connect or whatever. You'd said that you would watch the podcast, and I
watched a bunch of them. Like, a bunch. Like, I would just like keep doing all my bookwork stuff, because like we don't have accounting, we don't have anything. Like, we do everything in house. Like, we wear probably too many hats. Yeah. So it was like, how can I make this better? Yeah. And that's why I kind of kept listening to everything.
Well, I appreciate that. And drop a comment next time you're listening. Yeah. Like, for putting time, energy, and effort into something, like, I love it. I would do it if we got 2 views, and there were times where we did, and still are sometimes.
You can see it.
Yeah.
You can see that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So I think I'd ask you a question, something along the line. I mean, shit. We can pull it up. Where's my phone?
It was right there.
Hold on. Let's see. I think I had asked a question. You were like, this is, let's see. We're going to do it live, folks. You said, man, nice to connect as well. I came across a few of your podcasts and been listening to a lot of them. Some stuff has for sure helped me with my roofing business. I'm like, man, I love that. What else would be helpful? Topics, specific issues you're facing. If it would help you, would likely help others as well.
For sure.
Getting that feedback is crucial, because it gives me a North Star of like, hey, what are some things that I should make sure that we talk about? And then you talked about your company, working with your dad and things like that. In like the transition, right? So you're probably thinking about things like the CRM and things like that. And I was like, fuck it, dude. Yeah, why not? Come on, let's talk about it, right? Because like if you're facing that challenge, there's other people.
How many other companies are in the exact same position of like, how many roofing companies do you really see that are still out there that are, you know, they just have a plain white truck, no sticker, no nothing. They got 2 or 3 guys and they go. They do 1 roof a week or whatever. It's like, are these people like comfortable like that, or do they really want to grow and they just don't know how? So it's like the informational part of that was like, I had to kind of figure that out on our own to do that.
Right.
And it was I didn't have nobody to ask. I don't have a mentor or anything like that. So it was like,
it's a lot.
It's a lot to take in. Yeah. And it's very stressful, or like you said, comparing yourself to everybody else. When you listen to other podcasts, it's like, man, this guy's got $28 million roofing company. It's like, how could I ever be something like that? Like, it's very like,
I feel like a dog in a dog park.
Yes. Yes.
So it's kind of me taking my own medicine when I approach it that way, because, you know, similarly to how we talked about content, like, why are people buying from you? Why are your customers not buying from you? What objections are you getting? That should be the pulse and dictate how you're positioning your brand, what type of content you're making, how you're framing it so that it resonates with people far before they ever need you, right? So, I mean, I have people reach out to me all the time, like, dude, I watched this podcast and like this specific thing you talked about with Andy or with Corey or with this person, like that. So my guy Otis, Paramount Roofing and Consulting out of Georgia, he hits me up a couple years back, and we start talking. Cool dude, old football player, has a roofing company, used to be an adjuster, then got into the roofing side of things. And before he signed with me, he's like, do you know why I reached out to you? I was like, yeah, you said you saw one of my videos. He's like, yeah, but do you know specifically? And I'm like, no, I don't. I'd love to. He said, you had a podcast where you talked about being the fat kid, showing up for town league football. You know, it's weight limit, right? You gotta be 75 pounds. Mike was always 79, 77, 78, 80. So I would show up 4 hours early. I would throw a fucking garbage bag on, and I would go run until that scale said I was 75 pounds. Damn. He's like, that was me. He's like, and I knew that was the type of person I wanted to work with. Someone that had that dog in them. I was like, welcome to the family, baby.
that's what it's all about, man.
It's, you know, you create content, be authentic, show who you are, what your company is, why you can help people, how you can help people. And dude, honestly, like,
be yourself, you know.
Be yourself. You know, shoot content with other people too. Like, if I'm a roofing company, I'm going to get an HVAC guy. I'm going to get a real estate guy. I'm going to get a plumber. Like, other people in the trades or directly or adjacently related. And we're going to talk about things that we run into.
100%.
Right? And
people only see the glory on social media.
Yeah.
They don't see what it really takes. Like, you only produce the content that you want people to see.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people understand that.
Right.
So,
but, you know, if you're a roofing company and you're doing those things, now you start to get access to their audience, right?
Yes,
because you tag them, invite them as a collaborator, and they're like, dude, I saw this dude Bradley that was talking. Let me go follow him. He had some good shit to say, right?
And isn't that they didn't even need a roof?
Didn't even need a roof.
But the name, the brand, everything is out there.
Yeah, and then it's, you know,
they're going to see you everywhere, from the road with your trucks to every time they scroll on social media.
That's it. And, you know, they might not need a roof now. They might not even own a fucking house now. But what happens when they do?
They're in your head.
And stay
or you're
there.
In their head,
yeah, you're in their head. And that's, so that's why I chose to invite you on, because I thought it's a different, your company's in a different spot. You have a unique journey, and it's like, I want to learn more about it.
Sure,
and
man.
for the people watching, if it helps one person, we did our job.
For sure. That's what it's all about.
That's it, baby.
That's right.
Brick by brick, help people. Dude, if you do the right thing and lead with the best of intentions, like you said, the rest falls into place.
Everything.
You'll make the money, you'll get more clients or customers. Like,
if you set the goals of like, I want to make X amount, or I want to buy this car or whatever, it's like, those are all external things.
Yeah.
Everything.
And don't get me wrong, it'll be great when you sit in that car.
Yes.
And then a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later, the allure wear off, and you're like, cool, I got this fucking car. And you'll be stressing about every other fucking thing in your life. It goes away quick.
Been there, done that with things.
Samesies.
So, yeah.
And I still do it.
Me too.
I want this. And I get in, and it fucking sits in the corner. It's like,
but then it's like, what's next?
What's next?
What's next? Every time.
So go to war with myself every day.
I think that's the competitiveness of who we all are, you know?
For sure.
But
you got any other questions?
It should be good. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I appreciate you taking some time to to give some perspective to the audience.
Yes,
This is fucking incredible. I'm glad that we did it. Thank you for tuning in, because, you know, if nobody watched, like, why would I do that? That'd be fucking weird. And shout out to the team at Roofer again for making it happen. Make sure you hit the link in the descriptions. And yeah, we gone.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.